Good afternoon and welcome to another live WDCB broadcast from the PianoForte studios in Chicago. I'm Dan Binder with you to, as Barry mentioned, to take a brief break from our summer pledge drive to celebrate Make Music Chicago Day. And to celebrate, we have something really special for you today. In just a moment, we're going to be joined by a voice you hear every Tuesday evening on WDCB, that of Steve Rashid. He's the host of our Chicago Jazz Live program. He's got a wonderful trio together for us to present the music of one of his inspirations, Mose Allison. This broadcast is made possible through the cooperation of the PianoForte Foundation, a nonprofit whose mission is to preserve and promote piano culture. More info online at pianofortefoundation.org. And just in case you're not familiar with Make Music Chicago, it's a day-long citywide DIY music festival that celebrates the musician in us all. Make Music Chicago encourages all Chicagoans to make music, regardless of age, ability, or preferred musical style. It was first presented by Rush Hour Concerts in 2011 at the request of French Consul General Graham Paul. The event started in France. Now, Chicago joins 700 cities across the globe making music in a similar fashion today. There are hundreds of free performances happening today all across the Chicagoland area. So now, to celebrate Make Music Chicago Day, let's hand it off to the trio that's going to make music for us this hour. Jim Cox on bass, John Mulder on guitar, and with voice and piano, Steve Rashid. Gentlemen.
You told me, baby, once upon a time, if I would be yours, you would be mine, but that's all right. I know you don't love me no more, but that's all right. But it seemed like every now and then I wonder who's loving you tonight. You told me, baby, our love was strong. Woke up one morning, all your fine words are gone, but that's all right. I know you got yourself another boy, but that's all right. But it seemed like every now and then I wonder who's loving you tonight. When I was loving you, you just didn't understand. And now you're trying to fool another man, but that's all right. I know you're talking about me, but that's all right. But it seems like every now and then I wonder who's loving you tonight. Yeah, it seems like every now and then I wonder who's loving you tonight. Yeah, it seems like every now and then I wonder who's loving you tonight. All right. So that was a Jimmy Rogers tune. Not that Jimmy Rogers, the other Jimmy Rogers, the blues man Jimmy Rogers, who wrote That's All Right. Mose Allison did a lot of his own material and material from the blues tradition that he appropriated and did his own arrangements. And I learned a lot of Moses' songs and started to do my versions of his versions. So that's sort of what that was. This is one that Mose wrote. It's called I Love the Life I Live. See you watching me just like a hawk. I don't mind the way you talk, but when you touch me, something's got to give. I live the life I love, and I love the life I live. My diamond ring and my money too. Tomorrow night they could belong to you. The girls move me at their will. I live the life I love, and I love the life I live. Oh well, I may lay 100 on a bet this time. Tomorrow night I can't cover your dime. Next week I could be over the hill. I'm just trying to tell you people how I feel. You see me rocking as I pass you by. Don't talk about me, 'cause I could be high. Just forgive me, if you will. I live the life I love, and I love the life I live. Time. Tomorrow night I can't cover your dime. Next week I could be over the hill. I'm just trying to tell you people how I feel. You see me rocking as I pass you by. Don't talk about me, 'cause I could be high. Just forgive me, if you will. I live the life I love, and I love the life I live. Oh. So Mose wrote a lot of songs that I felt were kind of like little short stories, with these odd characters. He himself led quite a tame life by comparison. Married for 67 years and happily so, with raised 3 kids. He was not a substance abuser of any sort. But his songs are populated with these characters that are definitely have struggles. And this next one is one that typifies that, called Parchment Farm. Well, I'm sitting over here on Parchment Farm. Sitting over here on Parchment Farm. Sitting over here on Parchment Farm, and I ain't never done no man no harm. Putting that cotton in an 11-foot sack. Putting that cotton in an 11-foot sack. riding in an 11-foot sack with a 12-gauge shotgun at my back. Sitting over here on number 9. Sitting over here on number 9. Sitting over here on number 9, and all I did was drink my wine. Well, I'm gonna be here for the rest of my life. Well, I'm gonna be on this farm for my natural life. Well, I'm gonna be here for the rest of my life, and all I did was shoot my wife. Sitting over here on Parchment Farm. Sitting over here on Parchment Farm. We're going to end up this little mini set with a pair of tunes. Honestly, I strung them together because they're in the same key. But first one is, Mose didn't often get politically involved in his lyric writing, but this tune is about as close as he ever got. Certainly it pops up in others, but this one is pretty overt. And I don't recall when he wrote it, but I can tell you that it always feels like he wrote it yesterday because it's always timely. It's called "Everybody Crying Mercy," and from that we'll go right into an old Muddy Waters tune called "Baby Please Don't Go." I can't believe the things I'm seeing. Wondering about some things I've heard. Everybody crying mercy, but they don't know the meaning of the word. Bad enough situation. Sure enough, getting worse. Everybody crying justice, just as long as there's business first. Toe to toe, touch and go. Give a cheer, get your souvenir. people running round in circles. Don't know what they're headed for. Everybody crying, peace on earth, just as soon as we win this war. Straight ahead, knock 'em dead. Pack your kit, choose your hypocrite. You don't have to go to off-Broadway to see something plain absurd. Everybody crying mercy when they don't know the meaning of the word. Nobody knows the meaning of the word. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. No, baby, please don't go down to New Orleans because I love you so. Turn your lamp down low. Turn your lamp down low. Now turn your lamp down low because I love you so. Now baby, please don't go. Got me way down here. They got me way down here. They got me way down here by the rolling fog. Treat me like a dog. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go.
Music from the Steve Rashid Trio here at PianoForte in Chicago as we celebrate Make Music Chicago Day. with a live broadcast and a wonderful set. Jim Cox on the bass, John Mulder playing guitar, and yeah, fantastic. And Steve, your voice and piano. Great to hear you doing all these Mose Allison songs. Mose has that combination of, I always think of that combination of country and city. I mean, he's got these rustic Mississippi blues elements combined with the sophisticated jazz group that he plays with, or the style that he plays on the piano. Why is it that it speaks to us so strongly? Wow. I know he's a big inspiration for you.
Yeah, well, I actually hadn't even thought about that aspect of it till this second, but what you're describing in his music describes also his life. He grew up in a very rural part of Mississippi. Tippo, Mississippi is where he was born and grew up. But then, of course, he wound up in New York and playing with Al Cohn and Zoot Sims and a lot of really great players before he started out with his own trio and sort of made his name for himself as his own artist. But so his life really combined that rural and urban upbringing. And so does mine. And I never thought about that till just now, because I grew up in a little town in Wisconsin, Ripon, Wisconsin, 6,000 people, and I was there. I went to Ripon High School and Ripon College. There was a beautiful little college there. So I lived my entire life into my early 20s in a very small town, and then after that moved to Chicago. So in some ways there's a parallel. Although I never that certainly didn't enter into the reason that I like Mose Allison. When I was a kid, I had an older brother who would often come home with music that would interest me, and he came home with a couple Mose Allison records, and I just flipped out. And it was the first time I listened to it so much that I realized and I was starting to take piano lessons. That was the very first song that I ever figured out at the piano after hearing it on a record was a Mose Allison tune. So he's been with me since the very beginning. His music.
I think along with the country city thing, the blues and the wordplay are the other two things that always jumps out to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. His, a lot of his blues. Just growing up, I assumed that he wrote all those songs, and of course he didn't. And like the last tune was a Muddy Waters tune. So he pulled a lot of blues tunes from people from around his area and beyond. And he was very well read. I think he graduated with a degree in English and a minor in philosophy, and very much a student of history. So, and his lyric work and his lyric output is really rife with really interesting wordplay and funny rhymes and stuff like that.
Now, Moses been no stranger to Chicago over the years.
Yes.
Often would come in to perform for a week at the Jazz Showcase. I don't know if he's still performing, but have you had a chance to meet and get to know Mose a little bit on some of his visits to Chicago over the years?
A little bit. I had he is now retired, which is one of the reasons I'm even more inclined to perform his music, because I feel like it's such great music, it deserves to be performed live. But he is now retired. And he, but when he would come to Chicago, I saw him several times here, and got to, so he would often pull Chicago musicians as sidemen. So I know Bob Rummage and Kelly Sill played bass with him, and I know those guys, and I would go see Mose and get a chance to kind of get a little close to him through his sidemen. But he, very, very sweet guy and understated. And I actually had the great honor of opening for him one night. There was a little club that had a very short life in down on Wells Street that. And their opening, I had sort of a house band there. This is many years ago, and they had him as the headliner the opening night, and so I got to play ahead of him. So that was really a treat.
Steve Rashid is with me in a live broadcast from PianoForte in Chicago as we celebrate Make Music Chicago Day. We're going to hear some more music in just a few minutes. And another set, by the way, we're taking a short pause in our summer pledge drive, but you can still call in this hour at
Please do.
630-942-JAZZ, or go online to make a contribution to WDCB.org. But the subject at hand, Mose Allison, as you're doing a tribute to him this afternoon, your own music, you're a songwriter yourself. How has his influence affected you and your own work?
Well, I'm really, as a songwriter, I'm really drawn to that concept of songwriting as storytelling, and I always like the fact that Mose, as I was saying earlier, populated his songs with these really interesting characters, and they were not autobiographical. They were just characters the way you would write a novel or a short story, and for the same reason I'm drawn to people like Randy Newman or Paul Simon, some of these people that when you hear their music lyrically, you're really taken on a little voyage often into the mind or the life of some character, and that has absolutely influenced me. I would not pretend to write it at their level, but I certainly aspire to writing lyrics that sort of are in that fall into that camp.
Well, I'd love to hear a few of your originals. I know you've
Sure.
got some more Moe's tunes to play, and before we get you back to the piano. To play a little bit more, we should mention your work on Chicago Jazz Live on WDCB every Tuesday night from 7 until 8 p.m. Wonderful program. We've been so happy to bring it to our audience. And I know you have upcoming events people can find out about them through your website and also see video of some of the things they've been hearing on the radio.
Yes. Well, first of all, Chicago Jazz Live is such a true and pure delight for me. I am so happy to be doing that, and I hope everybody listening calls in and makes a pledge at WDCB because they are such a champion of Chicago music, Chicago jazz, and I am so grateful that they've given me the opportunity to do this on Tuesday nights. So I'm having a blast doing that. But yes, you can, if you want to know more about what we're up to, because we record live performances and then edit them down and broadcast them later. And you can go to my website. It's just steverashidpresents.com is the website. You can go there and learn all about what we have coming up. You can also, and then you can see archives of any of
some
our
wonderful videos
past shows. Yeah.
Of the events.
Yeah, there's over 100 of them up there.
Great. Well, we look forward to hearing another edition of the show tonight at 7 o'clock. In the meantime, how about we hear some more music?
Sure,
a few of your
absolutely.
own and a few from Moe's?
So I've got, I'll go back over the piano and talk.
All right, you're listening to a live broadcast from PianoForte in Chicago, celebrating Make Music Day with Steve Rashid and the Steve Rashid Trio. Once again, don't forget, you can call in with a pledge. We're kind of taking a break from the drive, but we'll give you the number again just in case you're feeling inspired, 630-942-JAZZ, or online at wdcb.org. And let's get back to some more live music. The Steve Rashid Trio here at PianoForte on WDCB.
So this is, thanks, Dan. So this is a song called "Oh Benny," and it's a song that I wrote after reading several Raymond Chandler novels. You may be aware that Raymond Chandler was a detective writer and kind of the architect of some of the early film noir classics. In fact, his novels became movies, famous movies like The Big Sleep with Humphrey Bogart, and his. In fact, he had a hand in writing the screenplays as well as the novels that preceded the movies. But he always had a great turn of phrase and would write things in that gritty style. Things like, she smelled the way the Taj Mahal looks by moonlight, or I'm an occasional drinker, the kind of guy that goes out for a beer and wakes up in Singapore with a full beard. Raymond Chandler had those kinds of phrases. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a song that kind of used or attempted to use that language? So I appropriated a few phrases from Raymond Chandler, and then also just borrowed a lot of jazz slang from back in the 40s and concocted this ridiculous tale about the time in 1949 that I was hanging out with Benny Goodman, and it's called "Oh Benny." So me and Benny Goodman were hanging out at Condon's, swapping a few sides and knocking a few back. I brought some Prez. He had the latest Clifford. Benny always packed the wildest wax. So we're hanging loose and talking looser, like who's cubistic and who's a cat. Benny starts doing next week's drinking. I say, "Pops, don't go lose your hat." He said, "Steve, man, I know my groceries, and when I have a thought, I brain it around. And the way I see it, this gig is over. The big bands are going down. Oh, Benny, don't be a fool. No need to upset yourself. You're the king of swing, and that's cool. You're groovy as a movie, so put your worries on the shelf. You still rule the school. Benny says, those little hepcats with their oo-bop and their zoot suits and goatees and glasses and French berets. And me, I'm just trying to blow my rosewood. Looks like the Ray has had his day. So Benny's fussing and he's spitting and he's fuming, and meanwhile there's a ruckus out on the street. 'Cause up pulls a rag top and out pops chicken dinner. And his skirt yells, where's that lying cheat? And I say, Benny, you happen to know that muffin? He said, oh, Pop, that blonde from the Belvedere. She'd make a bishop kick a stained glass window. But I stiffed her for lunch, and cab fare here, uh-oh. When the door flies open, and in walks trouble. She's dressed in red with her gauge up max. She throws a chair, locks her lamps on Benny. Benny jumps right out the back. Oh, Benny, did you really leave? I know you must protect yourself, 'cause you're the king of swing, and I'm Steve. But man, you left me hanging. These chicks about to blow a fuse from here to Santa Cruz. She's on fire, and she's hot as a rocket. She shoots me a look I can feel in my pocket. I don't know my elbow from my shoe. She could thrill me or kill me. Benny, what am I supposed to do? So that was the last time I laid my eyes on Benny. The king of swing changed my life. He was the master. I owe him plenty. Anyway, that's the story of how I met my wife. Oh, thank you. Oh, well. Here's another one of mine. This is something totally different. This was written. My wife and I have two grown sons, and when I was teaching my older son to ride a bike, helping him learn, I was thrown back to that muscle memory of the memory of the reverse of the situation when my own father taught me how to ride a bike. And since we've just completed Father's Day this last Sunday, I thought it'd be nice to do this one. It's called Running by My Side. The change was jingling in your pockets. The wind was blowing in my face. We couldn't stop if we wanted to stop it. You're wobbling all over the place. You're flying down the road, you're pounding the ground. The world is a blur, but I'm laughing out loud. My heart's in a knot, but I think I'm alright, 'cause your hand's on my hand, and you're running by my side. Sometimes time stands still. You don't know what to say, 'cause you're having a dream in the middle of the day. I'm flying. I'm flying. How did you know at point in the ride just when to let go so I'd still be alright? 33 years makes a boy a man. Still plenty of things left to understand, but somehow I know way deep inside, wherever I go, wherever I ride, your hand's by my hand, I'll be alright, 'cause you're running by my side. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. So we're going to move back to the canon of Mose Allison. This actually is a Willie Dixon tune, Chicago's own Willie Dixon. It's a famous blues. Like with a lot of these tunes, a lot of people did them. I happened to learn them from Mose, so my versions of them directly reflect Mose's versions. The great Mose Allison, of course, what we're talking about. So here it is. It's called The Seventh Son. 1, 2, 3. Everybody talking about the seventh son. In the whole round world, there's only one, and I'm the one. Yes, I'm the one. Well, I'm the one the one they call the seventh son. I can tell your future, it will come to pass. I can do things for you, make your heart feel glad. Look in the sky, predict the rain. I can tell when a woman's got another man. I'm the one. Yes, I'm the one. Well, I'm the one they call the seventh son. Well, I can talk these words that will sound so sweet. They will even make your little heart skip a beat. I can heal the sick, raise the dead, and make the little girls talk out of their head. I'm the one. Yes, I'm the one. Well, I'm the one they call the seventh son. Yes, I'm the one they call the seventh son. Next one is, thank you. The next one is one of the first Mose Allison songs I ever learned. I think I was in my teens. Young romantic that I was. It's called You're a Sweetheart. And I'm sorry to say I don't know who wrote this. I don't think Mose did, but it's a beautiful little tune. And here it is. 1, 2, 3. You're a sweetheart, if there ever was one. If there ever was one, it's you. Life without you was an incomplete dream. You're my only sweet dream come true. My search was such a blind one. My heart was all at sea. I never thought I'd find one so perfect for me. You're a sweetheart, if there ever was one. If there ever was one, it's you. You're a sweetheart, if there ever was one. If there ever was one, it's you. Oh, life without you was an incomplete dream. You're my only sweet dream come true. My search was such a blind one. My heart was all at sea. I never thought I'd find one so perfect for me. You are a sweetheart, if there ever was one. If there ever was one, it's true. If there ever was one, it's you. Thank you. Thanks very much. That was uncharacteristically sweet of Mose Allison. Most of his tunes had a little bit more of an edge to it, so we're going to wrap things up. Thank you so much to PianoForte for having us here. Thanks so much for Dan Bindert and WDCB, the entire WDCB family. And I do hope you consider calling and making a pledge to this wonderful station. I'd like to thank Jim Cox on the bass and John Mulder on the guitar for helping me out today. My name is Steve Rashid. And we're going to end with one of Mose's perhaps most famous tunes. It was one I have to believe that he probably wrote after one particularly rough night with an audience. You have been delightful, by the way. But this goes out to anybody who's not a delightful audience member. This is called Your Mind's on Vacation. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You're sitting there yakking, right in my face, coming on exactly like you own the place. You know, if silence was golden, you couldn't raise a dime. 'Cause your mind's on vacation, but your mouth is working overtime. You're quoting figures, you're dropping names, you're telling stories and playing games. You're over laughing when things ain't funny. You're trying to sound like you don't need money. Well, if talking is criminal, you'd be leading a life of crime. 'Cause your mind's on vacation, but your mouth is working overtime. Life is short, talk is cheap. Don't be making promises you can't keep. You don't like the song I'm singing, you grin and bear it. All I can say is if the shoe fits, wear it. And if you must keep talking, please try to make it rhyme. Because your mind's on vacation, but your mouth is working overtime. Yeah, your mind's on vacation, but your mouth is working overtime.
You've been enjoying the voice and the piano of Steve Rashid, along with bassist Jim Cox and guitarist John Mulder, in a live Make Music Chicago Day performance from the PianoForte studios. There are hundreds of live, free music performances happening all across Chicago today, amateur and professional. You can find out more information at makemusicchicago.org. This broadcast was made possible through the cooperation of the PianoForte Foundation, a nonprofit whose mission is to preserve and promote piano culture. More info online at pianofortefoundation.org. Our thanks to Thomas Zolls, Victor Lejeune, Josh Arizmendi, and the entire crew here at PianoForte for their help with today's broadcast. Thanks also to the folks back at WDCB for their production help, including Clarice Kavoris and Barry Winograd. Thanks again also to Steve Rashid, the Steve Rashid Trio, for sharing their music with us. Don't forget you can hear Steve tonight at 7 p.m. in his role as radio host when he brings you his weekly program, Chicago Jazz Live, on WDCB. And you can find out more information about Steve's work at steverashidpresents.com. I'm Dan Bindert. Thanks for listening. Let's send it now back to the studio to Barry with more DCB Jazz.